Yo, what's up? Welcome to Otaku Talk. It's me, your boy, your host, OD. And today we'll be talking about chapter 1027 of One Piece. And man, this really brought back a lot of classic One Piece memories for me. Oda revealed a lot of stuff that we've been waiting to see, a lot of what I think to be some foreshadowing. So I really can't wait to get into this chapter review. If this is your first time on my channel or you've been here but haven't done so already, I would appreciate it if you could like, share, subscribe. Would mean the world to me. Please join my League of Otaku, become my Nakama, and let's get it done. Anyway, without much further ado, let's get into the review. All right, guys, chapter 1027 of One Piece. On an unfortunate disaster, I believe it was called, right? Anyway, we start off this chapter with a nice cover story of, not cover story, cover art of Roger fleeing from a lion after drawing on its face. I love this because I don't know, just something about how childish he's behaving, his smile, just the joy that it exudes reminds me so much of Luffy. And you know how like every single time people that knew people that knew Roger meet Luffy and they're like, man, he reminds me so much of Roger. It felt that way for me, but the inverse where it's like, man, he reminds me so much of Luffy. So that was really kind of cool to get his out of battle personality and whatnot. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. Was a little confused on why he was running, but we've seen Luffy run away from people he's messed with because he's not scared of them, but he's also not trying to hurt them. So yeah, really like that. So anyway, we start off the chapter with Nekomushi, and I believe he's talking to Carrot and Wanda, and you see Paraspero just knocked out, and so he tells them that he has no clue what happened. I'm surprised that they can't sense the Conqueror's hockey from where they are. So I guess there's a range to like how you can feel it. Because I would assume being on Rogers crew and like knowing about Whitebeard and stuff like that. Sorry, they're on Whitebeard's crew, right? Not Rogers. Being on Whitebeard's crew, my brain is messed up. Anyway, they're on one of these two's crew. They would be familiar with the effects of Conqueror's hockey and feeling it. So for him to be like, oh, the cloud suddenly parted and he has no clue why, I'm just assuming there's a range to how far the Conqueror's hockey goes and that they can feel. He says something that's very interesting where he was like, the moon's out, you be careful, you don't want to accidentally go into Sulong. And I was like, you can accidentally go into Sulong, but it kind of makes sense because it kind of just seems like, okay, I did some research and one, I forgot how dangerous Sulong was. I thought that if you didn't train in it, it was dangerous, but even if you do train in it, it's dangerous, it shortens your lifespan. So recklessly going into it is not the move. On top of that, you don't really have to like do something. I thought it was something where they controlled like if they looked at the moon but weren't trying to go into Sulong, they wouldn't go into Sulong. But no, that's not the case. It's just like the Saiyans in Dragon Ball Z, where if you look at the moon, you're turning into a grade 8. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. Like that's what's happening. So that made a lot of sense to me. Also, right under the moon, you see Onigashima. It kind of lines up with what I said last chapter, where I think we're gonna have a panel or two of the people at the Fire Festival being able to look up and see, holy shit, Onigashima is looming above our heads. Anyway, after that, we have a awesome panel of Kaido versus Luffy, them across from each other, and then a later panel with their faces zoomed in. That was dope. It looks like Kaido is in his hybrid form, so he is ready to handle this. He's out of dragon form. He is trying to mess up Luffy in what we can only assume is his strongest form. Meanwhile, Yamato is with Momo and they're trying to get away. And despite all this flying, all the fact that he flew up this far, despite the fact that he bit Kaido, like he's still afraid of heights, which I respect the reason, like the rationale behind it, because he didn't want to fly in the first place. Luffy kind of forced him. He had his eyes closed the whole time, so he didn't know what he was doing or where he was going. And then he landed, and so he had to deal with one problem and then solved it. But the fact that it didn't go away, as annoyed as I am by that, like, dude, you've already done this and you can fly now. Like, get over it. The fact that all that happened and he's still scared kind of makes sense because in real life, your fears and stuff aren't just gonna magically disappear. Even if you do confront them from time to time, doesn't mean you're no longer afraid of them. It just means that you are now more willing to confront them. So I really fucked with that part. I really appreciated that aspect. During this part, Yamato talks about how she's hurt. She's more hurt than she realized. From the Thunder Bago that happened, what, like 2 chapters ago? So that's still lingering on her. And it makes me curious if that's Oda's way of showing us that, hey, Kaido might be posturing as well. Like he's taken some massive hits from both Yamato and Luffy, and the hits from both of them have had some conquerors. Luffy has used Ryu regular what's it called, armament haki with Ryu, and conquers haki with Ryu. And when I say that, I know it's confusing. I'm still a little confused on how all of this works. But basically, when I say conquers haki with Ryu, basically using conquers haki in a way where it flows out and into his opponent, something like that. I think he was doing that earlier when you remember that panel of that sequence of panels where he is just laying into Kaido with Conqueror's Haki. So I think that maybe, Kaido may still be feeling the effects of that. Also, literally not last panel, last chapter, Luffy came in with an elephant gun, and he came in with another Conquer Haki infused punch. So Kaido has to be feeling these. There's no way he's not feeling these. And I wonder if Yamato expressing how like her latent pain is just Oda's way of saying like, hey, there's another guy here that is secretly in pain. Another reason I think this is, Kaido has been known to be the breaker of wills. His whole crew is made up of former captains whose wills he's broke. He's tried to break Yamato's will. He lies to her and says all these things like people don't care for her and they abandon her. But at the end of the day, that's all been caused directly because of him, what he's been trying to do. And like as he's been fighting Luffy, instead of just beating him, instead of just taking care of Luffy, he's constantly telling him, hey, you're never gonna be Joy Boy. Hey, you're never gonna be the next King of Pirates. It sounds like he's just deflecting and trying to he's trying to break. I think in a battle of attrition, he's getting worn out and he's resorting to tactics like this where he's like, I'm just gonna break your will because willpower is hockey, and if I can break your will, then this fight then if you have no will to fight or the power to use your conquerors or armament to its full potential, I'm going to win regardless. So I think it's something along those lines, right? So anyway, Kaido jumps after Momo, trying to get rid of this other dragon that he has no clue where it came from, and the attack is swiftly blocked by Yamato. And then he is further restrained by Luffy, who basically tells Yamato and Momo to get a move on and to go. Now, I don't know if he just wants them to leave or he has a plan for them, but he wants them out of here. And I just love this one part where Yamato's like, "You want to face a 101, right?" And Luffy's like, "Yeah," and gives him the big, Monkey D. Luffy smile, which just touches my heart. I love that. I love that about Luffy. I love how hardcore and gangster he is. And so they go on to do their own thing. We find out that Onigashima is falling. It doesn't seem like Kaido's clouds are holding up anymore, which goes on to further prove my point that I do think that it appears to look like Kaido is getting withered down. However, there's a consistency issue I have here. It's not the biggest in the world. I can get over it, but the whole time Luffy was fighting Doflamingo, right? Doflamingo had that bird cage going. And at no point during their fight did that bird cage like become weaker or stop closing in. It wasn't until Luffy thoroughly beat and dispatched of Doflamingo that the bird cage, stopped. And that always bothered me because I was like, how is he able to maintain this bird cage and fight at the same time? And there's been many instances where we've had stuff like that with, like, for example, Crocodile, where he had the effects of the like desert still going, and like there's other characters where they've been doing big landscape type area of effect moves while fighting Luffy. And I always wondered, hey, I wonder if they weren't doing stuff like Birdcage, if they weren't doing stuff like maintaining the desert, if they weren't doing all these extra things while fighting Luffy, if they could have beat Luffy much easier because they were diverting their energy and their power. And that's a discussion for another day. So yeah, my thing is like if this is a result of Kaido's strength waning, then what was going on with Doflamingo? But anyway, moving on. Um, we get that if Onigashima falls and lands on the flower capital, it is going to be the equivalent of a giant bomb falling. And I wonder if Oda did this intentionally as well, because, we do have the really fucked up, kind of messed up history of, what was it, World War II, where what's called the United States dropped the first nuclear bomb on Japan in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So I wonder if he's trying to bring that up. If he is, that's rather brave. I know that's like for them kind of like their 9/11, their never forget kind of moment. So I'm wondering if this is something he intentionally did and brought up. But whew, yeah, there's a lot going on in this. Anyway, Yamato decides to keep Luffy out the loop. She says that he has enough going on fighting Kaido. He's the only one that can do it. He has enough worries and problems. So just adding on to his burdens is just too much. So we're not going to do it. So I thought that was nice. I kind of agree with that. However, I don't think Luffy is stupid. He also has, future sight. I just feel like there's no way he doesn't know about the looming danger above them. But regardless, I think it was a good choice and a great opportunity for character development in Momo because she tells him, hey, because he forgot how to fly. Hey, dragons don't actually fly. They create fire clouds amongst their feet that they use as footholds. So all you have to do is use those same fire clouds, put them around Onigashima, and use it to elevate. Now, I'm not sure if he's simply gonna use it to like elevate, levitate Onigashima, or if he's actually going to move out of place. Maybe he'll play some kind of cloud tug of war with Kaido. We don't know yet, but I'm very interested in what could occur there. Anyway, we cut to Zoro, and he is getting handled by King. Now, that doesn't say anything like he's losing, but like he is currently on the back foot. Can we all agree to that? Can we all please agree that he is on the back pedal, on the back foot to King as of this moment? Doesn't mean King is stronger going to win, but right now King has the advantage, and he is sending Zoro flying repeatedly during this fight, right? So apparently this is all caused by Zoro cutting off a part of his Gip mask. Yeah. So once he did that, it sent King into a semi-blind rage where I don't want to say he's just blindly raging, just like something akin to Mama's hunger pangs. Like he's still consciously there, but he's angry and just throwing attacks out like he doesn't give a fuck because of how pissed off he is, and he is just continuing in the Beast Pirate fashion of taking out his own fucking allies. It's kind of ridiculous at this point how many of their allies that they're taking out, honestly sabotaging their own victory by getting rid of their own allies and crewmates and Nakama and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of wild. Even Queen's like, yo, you need to chill out. You almost like hit me. And King's just like, damn, I wish I slit your throat. So that's kind of savage. They kind of have this tit for tat, kind of like Zoro and Sanji do. So that was kind of cool to see. It appears that Zoro is intentionally trying to provoke and antagonize King, however, because literally after recovering from the first attack, Frankie catches him, by the way, after that first attack, and Zoro's like, "You should get out of here," obviously, because he himself is about to do some things that he doesn't want to injure his his Nakama, and so what ends up happening is he uses Tiger Hunt to hit the side of King's mask, further breaking it. So yeah, he is intentionally trying to make King as mad as possible. Anyway, um, they clash. After that clash, he is sent flying again. He is sent out of the life floor and sent to his death to fall to the land below. He uses a move called Sky Tanuki or something Air Lance. There's two different translations. I don't know what the Viz is going to use to basically cushion his fall and stop him. Zoro gets like really, really pissed off about this because instead of like finishing him off with his swords or by his own hands. He was trying to leave it up to gravity, and Zoro took great offense to that. And he like yells at him about it, and like he has the shadows on his face, like he is legitimately pissed. And then and the thing that confuses me about this is not even like five, like I feel like 5 chapters ago we really had a discussion when King was using his like hidden blades and all this kind of like not dirty fighting tactics, but these non-traditional fighting tactics. And he literally, he basically says, he insinuates that he will fight dirty, he will do anything he needs in order to win, to which like Zoro was like, all right, yeah, cool, that's how it should be. Like, yeah, I'm even willing to do that as well. And then for this moment to happen where he's like, hey man, that was dirty, I was like, I thought we said that's what we were doing. No hold bars or bars hold. I forget the expression, but you know what I mean. Like, so I was a little confused at Zoro for doing that, so that weirded me out. But in King's case, King's like, "Hey man, you screwed up. You're like you aiming for my ass, my ass, my mask. You aiming for my mask was disrespectful. I like you clearly can tell that I'm sensitive about it. That everyone knows that I've never shown my face, and for you to intentionally like trying to unmask me kind of reminds me of like luchadors, right? How like Mexican Hispanic wrestlers, their whole thing about never removing their mask and their mask being removed is a big dishonor. Like like it kind of reminds me of that. And honestly, I just came up with that now because what we see from King is his mask is cracked. He seems to be tanned under, so he could be, he kind of looks black. He kind of looks like a dark skinned race, and he has slick back hair. It could be white, it could be blonde. We can't tell because this is black and white, but it does it does intrigue me the way his hair looks. It kind of reminds me of Douglas Bullet if you've seen that last movie Stampede, right? And so, oh, another thing is I really appreciated how many people also drew a parallel to King from One Punch Man. So that was cool. So yeah, I can't wait for the next chapter or next coming chapters where we get to see the full identity of King, what he looks like. A lot of people are insinuating he might have spiral curls, eyebrows, like Sanji, in case Sanji does have Lunarian DNA. So all that we know is that there is something going on with King. Otherwise, Oda would not have chosen to go out of his way to hide his appearance, right? Kind of, we can all agree on that, right? So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave this review here for now. Great, 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 great chapter. We got a little bit of everything. Next chapter, we'll probably get a little bit more of Sanji versus Queen's fight, especially if King relates to Sanji in some way. It would be a nice little setup to that. In terms of Momo holding up the Onigashima. Obviously, that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to have much problems with that. There's a lot of theories going around that because of the two Delph fruits that they have to Kaido and Momo have to split the power. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's a thing. If it is, whatever, I wouldn't like it, but it wouldn't like ruin things for me completely. But yeah, so, like I said, I don't know why I'm going on a tangent right now. I'll leave the chapter review here. What do you guys think about this chapter? How do you do you think Momo is going to be able to securely hold Onigashima? Do you think this is the last round between Luffy and Kaido? Do you think Yamato is going to play a role in any other faction of this fight? What do you think is going on with King? Do you think that he is Lunarian? Do you think he has some kind of relationship with Sanji? Do you think we're gonna see some super cool new move from Zoro? And what fights are you looking forward to the most? We still have Big Mom versus Law and Kid. We still have Killer versus Basil Hawkins. And who do we have? Apu I think is Apu still around? Is Apu still relevant? And then we have Raizo versus Fukurokujo. So yeah, we're nowhere near done. We are nowhere near done. We have a lot going on. So, whew, Oda, give it to us. I can't wait to see how you put it all together. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. This has been Otaku Talk with me, your boy, your host, OD. Have a great day. Take care. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Take care. Peace.